Alrighty, folks, welcome to my Major League Baseball free pick video here today for Tuesday, August 6, 2024. Happy Tuesday to you. Hopefully you had a great start to your week. And of course, my name is Brock Page. I've been dishing out free sports picks right here on YouTube since 2016. And you know I got to give a big congratulations out to all you chairman members out there, because you guys cashed in on another handful of premium selections yesterday on my premium page. We had the Reds, Rangers, Dodgers, and the Mets. And the only way you could have accessed all of those winners is to join my chairman package. And if you sign up for that membership, you're going to get access to that package every single day for the next 30 days. And as an added bonus, you're also going to get access to all of my cheaper memberships during that time frame, absolutely free. Going to be included with your purchase. Now, folks, we're also 8-3 in our last 11 board member tier package picks. And the good news is I have another board member play going off here today. And that package is included with your purchase of the chairman membership. The site is patreon.com/BrockPage. And with that, folks, let's go ahead and dive into some free content. We're going to start off with the D-backs at the Guardians, 6:40 p.m. East. Cleveland is minus $120, totals 8 runs. Ben Lively for the Guardians. Eduardo Rodriguez making his season debut for Arizona. Now, Ed Rod's coming, he's actually coming off a nice season in Detroit last year. Had 26 starts, ERA of 3.30. He also finished the year with a solid 1.15 whip. And, you know, I got to be honest, the guy really doesn't have to be stellar here today because the D-backs have, been putting up a whole lot of runs recently. Matter of fact, the D-backs are the second highest run-producing team in the major leagues at the moment. Ketel Marte's got 126 hits, top 10 in homers and RBI. And of course, Jock Peterson has an OPS of 946. And they're going to face a Cleveland squad who lost their last 3 straight. Pitching, it's been kind of terrible during that short stretch. The Guardians allowed 23 total runs during that short span. And as good as Lively's been, well, the Guardians have struggled with Arizona batters. They've allowed over 5.6 runs a game in their last 10 head-to-head gatherings. So if you're into historical trends, you certainly want to think about that one there. Now, total-wise, Cleveland's last 5 straight at Progressive Field got over the total. Meanwhile, Arizona went 8-2 to the over in their last 10. Give me the D-backs plus $1 over 8. Next game, Reds, Marlins, 6:40 Eastern start time. Cincinnati's $140, totals 8. Nick Lodolo for the Reds, Max Meyer for Miami. And as decent as Myers looked, he is backed by a horrible lineup of hitters. The Marlins are dead last in the National League in runs per game. And they're going to face an 8-4 Nick Lodolo, who's got 100 strikeouts and a 1.15 whip. And these Cincy pitchers have been impossible to hit against when they travel. The Reds allow fewer hits per 9 than any other staff in the league. Now, 3 out of Cincy's last 4 road games did stay under the total. They're also 60% to the under in their last 10. Give me the Reds minus 140, under 8. Next game, Pods, Pirates, 6:40 Eastern start time. San Diego's $165, totals 8 runs. Dylan Cease for San Diego, Bailey Falter for Pittsburgh. And as solid as Falter's been, the Bucks just don't want to win for the guy. The lefty comes into today's contest with a losing 5-7 record. And a lot of that has to do with the bats. Pittsburgh's a bottom 5 run-scoring team at home. And they're squaring off against an 11-win Dylan Cease, who's got 174 strikeouts and a sub-1 whip. But even if Cease blows chunks here today, the Pods are the best hit-producing lineup on the road in the league. Jurickson Profar bats .300 on the nose, leads the organization in hits. Luis Arraez bats .308. Now to Cease's last 4 starts on the hill, the Pods got the W in all 4 of those games. And that includes 3 shutouts during that span. Now, oddly enough, 4 out of the Pod's last 5 road games did get over the total. They're also 7-3 to the over in their last 10. Meanwhile, Pittsburgh went 60% to the over in their last 10 themselves. Give me the Padres minus 165, over 8. Next game, Giants Nationals 6:45 East. San Francisco's $1.20, totals 9. Hayden Birdsong for the Giants, Mackenzie Gore for Washington. And the lefty Gore is just 6-9 with an ERA of 4.54. And of course, as a team, the Nats lost 6 out of their last 8. And they gave up a ton of runs during that time frame. And they're facing a Giants club who's, overly patient at the dish. They're in the top 3 in walks per 9 on the road. And more recently, the Giants got the W in 8 out of their last 10. Just 2.3 runs a game they allowed during that stretch. And aside from a pretty dominant bullpen, starting pitcher Hayden Birdsong is 3-0 with an ERA in the 2s. And out of Birdsong's 6 starts on the year, he undercashed in all of those games except for 1. Of course, as a team, the Giants went 60% to the under in their last 10. Give me San Francisco minus $1.20, under 9. Next game, Angels-Yankees, 7:05 Eastern, first pitch. New York's the $3 favorite, totals 9 runs. Luis Gil for New York, Davis Daniel for Los Angeles. And through 22 innings of work, the youngster Daniel, he's got an ERA just about in the 5s. Of course, this Angel pitching staff has been pretty brutal. They allow more runs a game than most clubs in the American League. And they're facing the highest run-producing team in the league in the Yankees. Aaron Judge has 41 homers, 103 RBI, and an 1157 OPS. All are league best. And Juan Soto currently leads the clubhouse in walks, OPS in the thousands as well. And out of Luis Gil's last 10 starts, the Bombers did average 5.2 runs a game. Now, 6 out of New York's last 10 outings did stay under the total. They also held the Angels to just 3.7 runs a game in their last 10 head-to-head meetings. No real surprise here, folks. The under did cash in 70% of those games I just mentioned. Give the Yankees minus 1.5, under 9. Next matchup, O's Jays, 7:07 Eastern start time. Baltimore's $1.35, totals 8.5. Grayson Rodriguez for Baltimore, Chris Bassett for Toronto. Now, Bassett's just 8-10 with an ERA in the 4s. But even if he does have a good showing here today, the Blue Jays have struggled at the plate. They're a bottom 5 run-scoring team at home. And they're going to face a 13-win Grayson Rodriguez, who's got 130 strikeouts and an ERA in the 3s. He's also backed by a top 3 run-scoring team in the game. Anthony Santander's 3rd in the bigs in home runs. Gunnar Henderson's got the most hits on the roster. And when it comes to the total, these O's pitchers have held Toronto to just 3.6 runs a game in their last 10 gatherings. Give me the Orioles minus 135, under 8.5. Next matchup, Brewers Braves, 7:20 Eastern, first pitch. Atlanta's $1.35, totals 9. Bryce Elder for the Braves, Colin Ray for Milwaukee. And as solid as Ray's been, well, the Brewers lost 6 out of their last 9. And they've struggled with these Atlanta bats recently. As a matter of fact, this Brewer pitching staff allowed 62 total runs in their last 10 meetings with Atlanta. And out of Bryce Elder's last 3 starts, the Braves averaged 5 runs a game at the plate. Marcell Ozuna's 3rd in the majors in homers and RBI. Austin Riley has an on-base percentage of .326. Of course, as a team, the Braves are currently 9 games above 500 at Truist Park. And speaking of home games, Atlanta's last 4 straight in front of their own crowd did stay under the line. They're also 60% to the under in their last 10. Give me the Braves minus 135, under 9. Next game, Rays Cards, 7:45 East. St. Louis is $1.45, total 7.5. Sonny Gray for St. Louis, Jeffrey Springs for Tampa Bay. And regardless of how Springs throws, I just don't trust these Tampa bats. The Rays are a bottom 5 run-scoring team. They're going to face a 10-win Sonny Gray, who's got 147 strikeouts and a 1.09 whip. And even though they haven't been overly impressive, the Cards do play their best baseball at Busch Stadium. They've got a winning record as the home team. Now, total-wise, 3 out of the Rays' last 5 road games did stay under the line. They also went 60% to the under in their last 10. Give me the Cards, minus 145, under 7.5. Next matchup, Astros-Rangers, 8:05 Eastern first pitch. Houston's minus $120, totals 8 runs. Framber Valdez for the Astros, Tyler Mahle making his season debut for Texas. Now, Mahle's actually had only 9 total starts since 2022. It's a career ERA of 4.30 as well. And these Ranger pitchers have struggled against the Astros. They've actually allowed over 5.1 runs a game in their last 10 gatherings. And there is a good possibility we see more of the same. The Astros are in the top 3 in hits per game. Yordan Alvarez has an OPS in the 900s. Jose Altuve with the most hits in the clubhouse. And they probably won't need a whole lot of runs with Framber Valdez on the bump. The lefty's got double-digit wins and an ERA in the 3s. And out of his last 7 starts, the Astros got the W in every single one of those games. It was actually 6.4 runs a game they averaged during that stretch. Now, 3 out of the Rangers' last 4 contests at Globe Life Field got over the total. They're also 9-1 of the over in their last 10 at any location. Give me Houston minus $120, over 8. Next game, Twins, Cubs, 8:05 East. Minnesota's minus $120, total 6.5. Pablo Lopez for the Twins, Shota Imanaga for Chicago. And Shota's 8-2 on the year with a 1.09 whip. And these Chicago pitchers have been solid at Wrigley Field this year. They're in the top 3 in runs allowed at home. And they're facing a Minnesota squad who's struggled in interleague play. The Twins actually have a losing record against American League opponents. Of course, on the mound, Pablo Lopez has definitely allowed his fair share of runs. The righty's got an ERA of 4.65. Now, 7 out of the Cubs' last 9 interleague ball games in the friendly confines fell under the total. They're also 67% to the under in all of their contests against American League competition. Give the Cubs plus $1, under 6.5. Next game, Red Sox, Royals, 8:10 Eastern first pitch. Kansas City's $130, totals 8.5. Seth Lugo for the Royals, Brian Bayo for Boston. And even though Bayo tends to find trouble, the Bo Sox love playing for the guy. He somehow has double-digit wins on the year along with 103 strikeouts. And out of his last 8 starts, the Bo Sox got the W in all of those games except for 2. It was actually 6.6 runs a game they averaged during that span. These guys love hitting the ball for Bayo. And I'll tell you, he allows his fair share of runs, but it really doesn't matter if you're outscoring everybody. Of course, Jared Duran, he's been a big part of that. He's got the most hits in the lineup. Rafi Devers has the 4th highest OPS in the bigs. And they're going to face a Kansas City squad who really hasn't played great for Seth Lugo recently. They took the loss in 4 out of his last 7 starts. It was just 3.2 runs a game they averaged during that span. And as solid as Casey's been at the dish, they really haven't been overly patient. They're walking just 2.6 times a game in the box. Now, KC's last 3 straight at Kauffman Stadium did get over the total. They're also 7-3 to the over in their last 10. Meanwhile, Boston went 9-1 to the over in their last 10 themselves. Give me Boston plus $110, over 8.5. Next game, Mets, Rockies, 8:40 Eastern start time. The New York Mets are minus 145, totals 11.5. Luis Severino for the Mets, Kyle Freeland for Colorado. And Freeland's 3-4 on the year with an ERA of 5.64. And I tell you what, the Rockies have certainly had the worst pitching staff in baseball for most of the season. These guys allow 10.3 hits a game on their own diamond. They're actually last in runs allowed per game, and they're going to face one of the best road hitting teams in baseball. New York averages more hits a game on the road than any other roster except for one. And of course, New York's got a solid starter in Luis Severino. The righty's 7-4 with an ERA in the threes. Now, 6 out of Mets' last 10 meetings with Colorado did get over the total. So once again, if you're into historical trends, plenty of overs to go around. Now, they're also 62% to the over in all of their games away from Flushing, Queens. Give me the Mets minus 145, over 11.5. Next game, White Sox Athletics, 9:40 Eastern first pitch. Oakland's minus 195, totals 8.5. Ross Stripling for Oakland, John Cannon for Chicago. Now, Cannon's 1-5 with an ERA in the fours. And, of course, as a team, the Sox lost a million games in a row. Actually, what was it, 22? A lot of games, over 20 games in a row. And they ranked dead last in run production. And they're going to face an A's club who won 6 out of their last 10. And they definitely have a couple of guys who can hit the ball well. Brent Rooker's got 28 homers and the fourth most RBI in the bigs. He's actually in the top 10 in the league in homers, RBI, and OPS. And, of course, J.J. Bleday, he's got an on-base percentage of .322. Now, 6 out of the A's last 10 outings did fall under the total. Meanwhile, Chicago saw the undercash in their last 3 straight John Cannon starts. Give me the A's minus 1.5, under 8.5. Next game, Tigers Mariners, 9:40 Eastern first pitch. Seattle's the $2 favorite, total 7.5. Luis Castillo for the M's, Keter Montero for Detroit. And Montero's just 1-5 with an ERA in the sixes. And I tell you what, this Detroit lineup has really not done them many favors. The Tigers are in the bottom 5 in hits per game. And they're going up against Luis Castillo, who's got 130 strikeouts and a 1.16 whip. And I'll tell you, these Seattle pitchers, they've actually been the toughest to hit against in the entire league. They allow fewer runs and hits than any other staff in baseball. Now, total-wise, the M's are currently 67% to the under at T-Mobile Park. They've also held these Detroit batters to just 3.8 runs a game in their last 10 meetings. Give me Seattle minus 1.5, under 7.5 runs. And with that, folks, we're going to jump into our next and final breakdown for the video. It's going to be in that Phillies-Dodgers game. That'll be a 10:10 Eastern first pitch. Now, the Dodgers are minus $1.15, totals 8.5. Clayton Kershaw for the Dodgers, Chris Sanchez for Philadelphia. And as solid as Sanchez has been, he's officially recorded 7 losses on the year, and he does not have a winning record. Of course, as a team, the Phils have been pretty putrid over the past handful of weeks. They're just 4-13 since July 14th. And in their last 10 meetings with the Dodgers, their pitchers have been getting shelled. LA averages 6.2 runs a game during that time frame. As far as this season's concerned, well, the Dodgers have put up a bunch of runs in their own stadium. They're a top 5 run-scoring team in front of their own crowd. Shohei Ohtani has the most homers in the National League, 3rd highest OPS in the bigs. And Teoscar Hernandez has an on-base percentage of .327. Give me the Dodgers minus $1.15, over 8.5. And with that, folks, now it is time for our quick pick recap. Arizona plus $1, over 8 runs. Cincinnati minus 140, under 8. Guys, I'm 8-3 in my last 11 board member picks on my premium site. Padres 165, over 8. Giants $120, under 9. Yankees minus 1.5, under 9 runs. Baltimore $1.35, under 8.5. Atlanta minus 135, under 9. Cardinals minus 145, under 7.5. Houston $1.20, over 8. Cubs plus $1, under 6.5. Boston plus $1.10, over 8.5 runs. New York Mets minus $1.45, over 11.5. Oakland minus 1.5, under 8.5. Seattle minus 1.5, under 7.5 runs. And give me the Dodgers minus $1.15 over 8.5. And with that, folks, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on my premium site. Now, if you do end up getting a membership here today on patreon.com/BrockPage, just a friendly reminder, you're going to get access to that membership every single day for the next 30 days. And as an added bonus, you're also going to get access to all of my cheaper memberships absolutely free. They're going to be included with your purchase. That's why I always tell folks that Chairman Package, folks, gotta thank you for joining me right here on the free video. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, folks, happy Tuesday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my premium site at patreon.com/BrockPage.